to the We Were Athletes Once podcast. We've got a special trade deadline primer for you guys tonight. I'm Cody, as always. I'm here with Julian talking hockey. And I don't know about you, but this is one of the more interesting trade deadlines I feel like recently.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's been a slow start, but I think there's a lot of big names out there, so it's going to be a little bit slower until we get closer to the end.
Yeah, you got St. Louis, Calgary, Vancouver, looking like they're just going to sell off everybody. And now even Toronto's kind of putting their name out there that they're willing to move some pieces. So teams we don't typically see. And I think the Rangers could be interesting too. A couple big, or at least one big name out there. But, you know, who else are they willing to move at that point? So I think there several teams are going to be interesting. Nashville, what are they going to do? Are they buying? Are they selling? Are they standing pat? Like, we've got some things that we got to figure out with this deadline. And I think I know where I stand on most of it. I'm still a little wishy-washy on a few things.
I've got a few opinions that maybe some people won't agree with, but and you know what, and like fans of teams won't agree with just in
for sure,
and who they're selling. But that's how it has to be at the trade deadline. Not everybody's going to get it out.
Yeah, and for us here as Blues fans, just about every name is on the market, whether they're under contract for 1 more year or 5 more years. Outside of the young ELC guys and maybe a couple RFA guys, it seems like every name's out there. So for us, it's exciting, a little nerve-wracking. You know, if you're trading big pieces, you want big things coming back, and it's going to shape your future one way or another. So little nervous, but also very excited to see how this actually goes down. So we're going to get right into it. As soon as I can share my screen. All right. So for us, we're going to do this the wrong way that you should do this as a podcast. We are going to start with the big guns. Just because it was a lot easier for us to work off of once a team gets one of these big guys, it kind of takes them out on other things, and it just made our life a little easier to do it this way. So we're going to start off the top, one close to the heart, the biggest name out there, and that would be Mr. Robert Thomas. So Robert Thomas, 26-year-old center. He is under contract for 5 more years after this year at $8.125. And that's going to be a steal for a number 1A, number 1B center going forward. You're just not – that's going to be second-line center money. Yeah, and he is a 1.
Seasons. I think he's had 2 that are 80+, and this year's a down year to get that, but the Blues have sucked. So it's worth what I think Doug wants in return for a team.
Yeah,
it may seem a lot, but he returns that in his value.
And so the rumor is the asking price has been set at Doug Armstrong is wanting 3 top 15 type of return. So Quinn Hughes-esque, and people are going to scoff at that and be like, oh, he's not Quinn Hughes. You're right. He comes with 5 years on his deal, and Quinn Hughes is a UFA after this year. So you should expect that. When do 26-year-old first-line centers who play a 2-way game with over point-per-game season, multiple point-per-game seasons, who could win a Selke at some point, like when do those come available?
Very rarely. And if
they don't, you draft them.
Free agency.
Yeah, you draft them. It doesn't happen. So this one's interesting. First, I think the question has to be, do you think he actually get traded by the deadline?
I've thought about it a lot, and the way it's been going, at first I kind of thought it was just trying to shake up the team and maybe spark some under him, but I don't think that's happening this year. I think it might be actually happening.
Yeah, this one was hard for me because I was like, this seems like one you take your time with.
100%.
But there is so much smoke with so many teams' names out there and packages potentially that are on the board. I kind of think this one might happen. And as a Blues fan, I hate it because I love Tomer and I think he is the most underrated number one center in the league.
Oh, 100%.
Like people don't view him. They're like, oh, he's like a top 25 center. No, he's not. He's a top 15 at worst, probably a top 10. Maybe he doesn't put up 100 points. He's been close. He put up what, like 83 and 70. Like he's there. He's a 90 to 100 point player for sure. And he's a 200-foot player. You can put him in the penalty kill. You can put him on the power play. He makes insane passes no matter what that nobody sees. And he's got a wicked wrist shot whenever he uses it. Can look it off and just snipe. And this, like we said, this is a guy that could win a Selkie. So they're not available often. So it hurts. And I'm glad the Army has set that price tag because the only way you get rid of him is if it's a ridiculous return. So if he gets traded, I'm going to say he is because of all the smoke.
Yep.
If he gets traded, give me a couple places you see the fit, maybe who you think ultimately gets the deal done, and maybe some returns you're looking at.
So I think, in my opinion, where I want him to go the most, and I think would fit that team a lot, especially what they have built around it, is Utah, 100%. And I'll get to the returns after. I'll name some teams there first.
Yeah.
I think he would fit really well up in Montreal, but what I've been hearing is Doug wants Michael Hayes back in return, and the Canadians do not want to do that. So I don't know if that one's going to happen, but he'd fit really well there. And I don't know if you'll agree on this one, but I think Red Wings should be really thinking about this one. And I think he'd slide up in there really well with Raymond and Larkin. And maybe you put Larkin up top, Thomas on the second line, vice versa, you can switch it up. But he'd be a great addition to any of those teams. For looking at return, the team I picked him to go to, and so I have this return laid out. I have going to Utah, and then I have 4 pieces coming back. I've got Utah's first-round pick this year, Dmitry Simashev, who I believe they drafted last year or the year before, one of the two.
2 years ago.
Yep. And then Caleb Denoyer. I hate the names like that. And this one might be a reach. It might end up being more of like a depth piece or kind of a role player coming back instead. But I want to see that another prospect come back. And it was a late round pick last year, or late first round pick in Cole Bedoin.
I love it.
Yep. And it might be, and you were talking about how the price is expensive, but if that's what he's asking, that's what it might take to get a guy like Robert Thomas on your team.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because my 2 teams that I have him going to were Detroit and Utah. Like it wasn't a reach for me. That's where I saw him going. Now with Detroit, like if you want to do a proposal around Detroit, you've got to include one of Marco Casper and oh my gosh, whatever Danielson's first name is, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Nate Danielson. Because you got to get a center prospect coming back in this deal. 100%. It has to happen. You don't give up that without a potential replacement center.
Yep.
At least a second line center coming back. So I think you need one of Danielson or Casper. I think you need Axel Sandin Pellikka has to be coming back. You got to get that right-handed D. That's where we're weak. I don't necessarily love that as much because I feel like him and Mayu kind of fit that same category of offensive defenseman. Yeah. And I would love more of an all-around or stay-at-home type of guy. I think a first has to be included.
Yep.
And I think this is weaker than a Utah package. So this is where I'm like, you're going to have to throw in like a Carter Bear, which I'm good with, or I think you throw in one of your goalie prospects. Do you want to give up Kosa or
Augustine?
Oh, Augustine. I was like, it's a U.S. goalie. Or Trey Augustine. I think that is the type of deal you're looking at here. And Detroit fans are probably puking hearing me say that.
Oh, yeah.
But you're talking about Dylan Larkin and Robert Thomas being your 1-2 center for the foreseeable future. Neither of them are old. That can be electric. And you look at the piece around, I'm like, that's without giving up Moritz Seider, Simone Edvinson. Like, you've got those guys still. And in those situations, you still have one of the other people I don't talk about. You're either still having Danielson or Casper. You're man, I am blanking on names hard. Who's their winger that's a stud right now? He was just in the Olympics.
Larkin? Or not Larkin,
No.
Raymond, sorry.
Yeah, Lucas Raymond. Like, you have a legit, like, one of the nastiest top sixes in the NHL right now with those two. So I think Detroit should absolutely be thinking about this. But like you, I think the other options, because of names that I've heard, Boston. I hate every package Boston has been proposed. I think if James Higgins isn't the centerpiece in it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's the only piece I want from you. I'm sorry. Carolina, I don't think they have the picks to do it. Montreal, they're gonna hate it, but one, I'm not as high on Michael Hage as they are.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine. I think he's solid. I don't think he's a center in the NHL is my biggest problem with it. They also don't want to give up Caden Gooley, and I'm like, you're going to give up Gooley, Hage, and a first. Like, maybe in this situation, because of the money, you take back like Patrick Laine at a retained salary just to make the cap work.
Yeah.
But I just, as much as I think it would be a really good fit in Montreal, one, I've heard he doesn't necessarily want to go to a big market team. So would he waive to go to Montreal? And two, not my favorite package steal.
Yep.
I do love, like, I like the Detroit package better than that.
Yeah.
I do, though, love Utah.
Yeah, Utah's
now.
Best
I think you took it a little too far.
No,
I don't think Cole Baudouin is coming back also. But mine's very similar to yours. I said two of Iginla, Desnoyers, and Simishev have to be coming back.
I think Simishev is a must.
I think you got to get, you're going to get Simishev. Their fans are like, throw in Barrett Hayton and Maverick Lamoureux. And I'm like, those aren't doing it. Sorry.
No.
I don't care that Barrett Hayton was a 5th overall pick 7 years ago. That doesn't count as one of those pieces. That's a cap salary dump right there. Yeah. Lamoureux, okay, but that's not moving the needle for me. Not for Thomas.
Nope.
So I think they would rather keep T.J. Ginla. I think you see more future captain with him in that type of player. So mine was Caleb Desnoyers, Dmitry Simishev, a first, and I do think there is a fourth piece coming back, but I said like a third or a B prospect.
Yeah, I can see that.
Don't know what that's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be Cole Baudouin level.
Yeah. And
if it is, I'm taking that, and I'm okay with Thomas going because you've got a future high-end offensive center in Desnoyers. Will he ever be a Thomas? No. He doesn't have the defensive game to do that. But I think he has a higher point total upside.
Yeah.
So if you can put him with a defensive-minded guy, like maybe by the time he's ready, Jake Neighbors is that first-line guy, producing power forward, but is on the defensive end of it too.
Yep.
And then you can put him with another offensive-minded guy and make that work. And then if you get Cole Baudouin, I see him as a low 2, high C 3 type of center. So if you could make that happen, I'm all in on your package. I would prefer that. But I think it has to include Desnoyers, Simishev, and a first. Those are your 3 top 15 guys.
Agreed.
But you could throw in like that third low B prospect because you're assuming they're going to be a playoff team. So that that first round pick might be a little later than you're hoping for.
Agreed.
So you give a little sweetener. So if Robert Thomas goes, we see that, but we got to talk about the big rumor that's just come out within the last like hour or so that we've seen. We were just talked about this a second ago. Is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yep.
The names that have been out there in this package that they said are, I don't know if it's on the table or they've thrown around the name, is Owen Powers, Constantinius, and Jack Quinn.
Yep. It's
interesting. How do you feel about that one?
I think in that return, I'm probably highest on Constantinius. He is a point per game right now in the AHL, and Owen Power's been good, but I feel like he's kind of shaky and slow. And I do like him as a player. And maybe a change of scenery could change something there, but I think that's the best piece coming back there. And Jack Quinn's not a bad player either, but I really do like Consta. But I think if that's going to work, and it's an overpay, I guess you could say, you have to toss in that first there as well, and
Yeah.
maybe like I can see it.
Yeah, my biggest issue, and I said it before, is if you're trading Robert Thomas, you got to be getting a young center back, and that's not what's happening in this package. Jack Quinn is a right winger. Constant Hellenius is a right winger. I guess they could both play the left potentially.
Yeah.
And Owen Power, like that's a left-handed defenseman. You're hoping for a right-handed guy.
Yeah.
So it's a really good package.
Yeah.
I just don't think that fits
what we need,
what the Blues need.
Yep, I agree.
So Buffalo fans that want him, I get it. And I know you're throwing a great package out there. It's just not the right package. But I think that is the kind of return the Blues should be looking for.
Agreed.
Like if you're going no picks, like that is a good NHL level ready trade that I would find very acceptable.
Agreed.
It's just tweak it a little. Like if you could make, Powers a right-handed defenseman and one of those two, whether Quinn or Consta, could play center, like then we would be talking.
Agreed.
All right, so we go from one center to another. Lots of rumors. I think this guy's as good as gone. Vinny Trocheck.
Yeah, he's gone for sure. I've been hearing this rumor, and I kind of agree with it. I could see him going someplace else, but I think my front runner for him is the Minnesota Wild. I could also see a world in which he ends up on the Hurricanes, because he was saying, I think it was today or yesterday it came out, he wants to stay on the East, or as close to it as he can get.
Yep.
But then again, I feel like the Wild are being very aggressive this year and going and taking what they get, and they don't have much to give left. So he were to go to the Wild, I think their best prospect remaining, in my opinion, is Charlie Stramel, which I don't know if a lot of people know about him, if they're huge into the prospect game.
USA prospect.
Yeah. And a conditional second. And it might make them bite because he does have term left. He has 3 years left on his deal. And the conditional second, I kind of just made, if they advance to the Western Conference Final, it becomes next year's first. So that's my ideal trade for both teams if that were to happen.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough to get him.
That's fair.
And that's my problem, because I also think Minnesota is the best fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
They need another center. I think he fits that. He has, like you said he wants to stay on the East, but he only has a 12-team no trade, I believe.
Yeah.
So he can't block the entire Western Conference.
Nope.
So is he willing to go to a Western Conference team that's in the Central? That's about as far east as you can get outside of like Nashville, who's not going to trade for him. So after that, I started thinking, like, who else would this fit? And obviously Carolina always fits because it's Carolina. But I tried to think outside the box a little bit more. And now that I'm thinking about it, what about a team like the New York Islanders?
See, I've thought about that too, and that's what gets me into some of my other trades where I was really thinking on because I feel like they're going to make a move, the Islanders. I just don't see a way in which the Rangers will give the Islanders a player.
That's fair. And that's one thing I didn't think about until right now. So this one's harder for me. I think Trocheck is gone.
Yeah, 100%.
My initial thought was Minnesota, but I just don't like the pieces that they have to give up unless they're giving up a first next year and a Charlie Stramel, maybe something else. Like Vinny Trocheck is getting a first and a good prospect, and maybe a little more. Yeah, that one's really hard. Maybe this is a place where I have them getting someone else, but maybe this is a place where like Dallas comes in.
I could see that. And Dallas has some cap because I believe Seguin's year is
out
over
for the season. Yeah.
So, but that does bring the question there where he still has years left. Can they make it work after? And I think yes, with Robertson most likely leaving.
Yeah.
So there is a world where the stars come in there too. So he's a hard player. He'll fit on any team, and
He'll
I'm
go
sure
anywhere. Yeah.
any playoff team would like to have him on their team.
Do you need a 2C? You need a 3C?
Yeah.
Like, he can do it all. And I think nothing helped him more than his Olympics
Oh no,
because
yeah,
he was a monster and just proved that he can play anywhere at the highest level and produce. So
agreed.
Rangers are licking their chops at that, and I think he just gave them some extra pieces
Yeah.
that he might not have gotten before. So yeah, let us know what you think about Vinny. Like I said, I think he's gone. The fit is just the hardest thing, and maybe it is just Carolina, and we're overthinking it.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we've got an interesting one. Nazem Kadri.
It's hard. It's really hard.
The term is what kind of gets me.
Yep.
3 years, $7 million at 35 years old. Like, this is one that was a little difficult for me. And I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at my fit now of who I had, and I don't like the fit.
I'm interested. I don't know if I per se.
I changed. Actually, I
hate the
changed.
play.
Okay. I know. Here in St. Louis, we hate Nazem Kadri.
But he still has something there.
Scumbag.
He has something there. But 3 years at $7 million, I don't know if that's the right number. And we were discussing who would be retained and stuff like that. I don't think he's one of those guys. I don't know if Calgary wants to retain for 3 years. So I think if you're a team, you kind of have to take on that full hit, which is hard because what team that is making a contender run has $7 million left? And there are some who are younger, but I don't know what you have. I don't know if this works. They might have to move something around, or there maybe has to be retention. But I took the Canadians.
Okay. Interesting.
The Canadians.
I originally had Dallas. That was my first
I
thought.
can see it.
I'm like, they need a center. Then when I thought about the cap, I'm like, it works this year. I don't know if it works after that.
Agreed.
So I went back to maybe some old stomping grounds here, and I have him going back to Colorado.
See, that was the second place I had, but I had that same issue with what cap, and I don't know if they do.
So this is one that I said they're going to retain on.
Okay.
This is a guy that I go, they're going to retain on him for the 3 years because they're getting ready to trade everybody.
Yep.
They're not going to have a ton of cap, and Craig Conroy is going to want to get the best that he can. Like, we already saw what he got for Rasmus Anderson.
Yep.
He's trying to get this future right. And so I have Nazem Kadri at about 22% retained to get him down to 5.5.
That's fair. Yeah, and I think that's a good deal for Kadri with what he.
Yeah, and with that, because they're retaining, they're going to get a first-round pick.
Yep.
They're going to get Mikhail Gulyayev, their top left-handed defensive prospect, and then they're going to get a third piece. And I said pick possibly, but I kind of like this other option better because it also helps offset the cap for now and in the future.
Yeah.
Ross Colton going back as well.
I could see that.
So I have a first, Gulyayev, and Ross Colton going back for 5.5 being the final cap number for Colorado with the retention.
For the Canadians, I had prospect Owen Beck first and a second. And now we were talking.
I think it's too much.
It is. I think it is too. But for some reason, I don't know if it's true or not. I see reports all the time, and who knows if they're all true or not. But for some reason, the Canadians love Kadri. And they want to win. I think they're tired of being. And I think that what was the last time they made the playoffs? The bubble, the COVID bubble.
Yeah, something like that.
That little weird run that went on. But I think they're trying to get back to being one of the scarier teams in the NHL. And that's if they add Kadri, I don't know if the Canadians are a team I want to see in the playoffs.
I've got Montreal maybe getting 2 people. This isn't one of them. I don't know if this is the 2C they want. Just because, like I said, he's 35, doesn't really fit with where you're going. And I do feel like Kadri has lost a step this year. What's he going to look like at 36 and 37? Is that who you want to be your second or third line guy, potentially making $7 million? I just don't like that quite as much. So I think Colorado knows their playoff window is now, and they've already won a cup with him. So this is one where I'm like, I kind of see the fit of him just going back there. It's worked before. Let's make it work again.
Yep. I can see it 100%.
Next, another blue, Justin Falk.
I think
is as good as gone.
I think there's a front runner for him.
Do you? I have two. And one is one that I've been clamoring on all season. Like literally all year I've said this team is where he's going to go. But I kind of have changed my tune a little bit, and I've got another team now that I think could swoop in and take him.
I have the Boston Bruins.
That's the team that I think could swoop in and take him.
I have the Boston Bruins, and this might be a little too much for Falk. I don't know. I don't know much about Andrew Peeke, and I know Matthew Poitras, and then I have a conditional second. I don't know what the condition would be, but the Bruins are in a weird spot where they have 2 first-round picks, and one of them might end up being a top 10 pick, that being the Maple Leafs pick, which is nice. So I think if they're bringing in a defenseman and they're trying to make a run for some reason, I don't see it. They might be willing up to make or put a condition on that if they win 2 rounds, make the Western Conference Finals, something like that, it becomes a first. Or a Falk.
I think there's going to be a bidding war here.
Yeah, I agree. And because I think he's probably 1 or 2 on the list of best defensemen out there in the trade deadline.
Yeah, right-handed defensemen are always a hot commodity. Yep. You can't find him. He's been playing awesome this year. He's got like 12 goals. You can play him on the power play. You can put him in that middle pair, and he's been solid there this year. So I think it starts with a first-round pick. So if there's not a first-round pick involved, I don't think it happens. Now, Boston, if they want to use their first-round pick, obviously they don't want to use Toronto's.
Yeah.
But if they want to use their first-round pick and throw in Poitras, however you pronounce his name, I think you could make a case that that's a very, very good offer.
Oh, yeah.
The team that I've been on all year, and I didn't put a trade package with them. Like I said, it starts with a first-round pick and then a good prospect.
Yeah.
Whichever one they're willing to give up, they've got several. Is Detroit still? I still think Detroit needs that right-handed defenseman. Mm-hmm. Again, he's from Windsor. Like, he's right there. Yep. That's where he's from. He's from that area. I think it still makes sense to send him home. But Boston, like on one of my lists, I have Detroit, and the other list, I have Detroit and Boston. Like, I just don't know. It's going to be one of those two, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else can. I mean, anyone could swoop in and take it, but I don't think anyone's going to outbid those two teams. No. It just feels like he's going to one of them.
I agree.
And like I said, it's going to be a first, and it's going to be a good prospect. So I don't think it's a first and a Danielson. Like, I think that's too much.
Yeah.
But, the Blues don't have any goalie prospects anymore, really. Like, outside of Luve Harrison, who's still many years away, it's not great. So maybe this is one where they throw in one of those goalie prospects along with their first and maybe something small. Yep. Like, that could be something. But I do think it is Detroit or Boston, and it does seem like Boston has made a lot of noise lately about him. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them swoop in and take that.
It's fair.
All right. Like I said, we got a lot of Blues. Jordan Kyrou. He's been playing solid recently. Mm-hmm. He has been on a hot streak. I think this is another one we have to say. Do you think he gets traded before the deadline?
No, I think he's a summer deal. But I do have a deal. I have a thing that could work if it were to happen. And I don't know if it's the best return.
I do.
That's why I think it's a summer deal.
I have a return. Did I put my return? I did. I put the beginning of my return. I think this is a guy that's not going to get you Thomas return. But I think you're going to get 2 really, really good pieces.
Yep.
maybe a third decent piece. But I also agree. I think this is a summer deal. There hasn't been a lot of smoke on him lately, and maybe it's just because all those Thomas rumors have been so big. But I would be surprised to see this happen. And I'm going to let you know, I don't think it's going to be Montreal.
I don't think so either.
And that's where all the smoke has been since the offseason. Could it happen? Sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think it will.
You might have two different teams here. I think mine's, I don't know if it's crazy, but it's I don't know if everybody would think about this one. I've got the Seattle Kraken.
Okay. Yep. That's not mine.
Yep. I've got the Kraken. And I have in return, I don't know if this is considered an overpay. I think because the third piece coming back, it's not. I have Shane Wright, their first, and Jaden Schwartz.
Interesting. Yep. I think they would be willing to move Schwartz for the money. Mm-hmm. Like I agree. Like that isn't like a huge piece right now.
And a return of Schwartzy.
Revenge of the Schwartz. Let's go. I do love Jaden Schwartz. Yeah. In any deal with Seattle, it almost seems like it has to include Shane Wright at this point.
I think they're trading Berkeley Cat.
Where's it at? I'm looking through my stuff right now because I debated one with him. That's where it is. Okay. We'll get to Shane Wright in a little bit for me. Okay. I do think Shane Wright is getting traded. I do think Seattle is going to make some kind of splash. Yep. They've got some cap room. I like that fit. I think it's very interesting. They're getting a little older on the wings. And so to get a younger guy with high-end talent, I think could be really good. And especially if you put him with a Matty Beniers who plays a good 200-foot game, and you just let him go and be like, I don't even need you to be defensive responsible. Like, yeah, get back, but like go do your thing on offense.
Agreed.
I think that could be really interesting.
Yep.
Mine is a team that I said a minute ago. I think he goes to the New York Islanders.
I could see that, and I like what they have to offer in return.
I do too. And so for me, I just put two pieces. I would be okay if this is the return. I have Jordan Kyrou going to the New York Islanders, and I have their first-round pick coming back, and I have Keyshawn Aitchison coming back.
Yep. See, I thought you were going to say someone else. One of my buddies is an
Cole Yzerman?
Yep, I thought it was going to be Yzerman, and I'm not saying
it's interesting.
We need the defenseman.
Yeah. I was big on Keyshawn Aitchison this summer. Mm-hmm. I liked that piece on the defense. He's big, he can skate, he can move the puck, and he's mean.
Yep.
I'm in on all of that. The other names that I think the Islanders could dangle out there if they like them more is Cole Yzerman.
Yep.
Or I also think Danny Nelson is an option too. But if I have a choice, I'm taking Keyshawn Aitchison.
Yeah. And with that trade, I have an opinion on that because if I'm an Islanders GM and I'm looking at the team that we have now and the piece we just got in Matthew Schaefer, I think the only two prospects on my entire team that are untouchable are Victor Eklund and Keyshawn Aitchison. I think as a GM, you have to keep both those guys because you have your top line. I think he can be a top line defenseman up there with Matthew Schaefer.
But are you going to play two lefties together?
That's what's interesting. They have the double left there, so we'll see. And if we got that in return, I would be beyond excited.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm
not a Kyrie fan.
I am not as high on Cole Yzerman as a lot of people are.
I think he's very one-dimensional.
He is. Yeah. He's got an elite shot, but guess what? We already have a guy with an elite shot that also back checks and hits people. So I'm
good.
He left a bad taste in my mouth this World Juniors. He was almost invisible, and he should have been the guy lighting the lamp constantly as a second or third year player. Danny Nelson is kind of that 2-3C kind of guy for me. Would I be mad if that was a return? No, but I wouldn't be thrilled about it either.
Yeah.
I would hold out for a better deal for Jordan Kyrou. And I'm not high on Kyrou by any means.
No, but I think with what his deal is and what he can do, you're going to get a better return than that.
For sure. And if it comes back and it's Montreal this offseason, I wouldn't be shocked either.
No.
But I like the Seattle fit. And I really like the Islanders because what do the Islanders lack every year for the last like decade? Offense. Like they cannot score. Like go get a guy and just be like, go score.
Yep.
Just go
Shoot
do
the
it.
puck. Have
Oh,
somebody hit
and
the
we're
stick.
gonna bring Cole Iserman up too.
Yep.
So they'll just go score.
Yep.
So I love Keishon Aitchison. I'm hoping that could be a piece that comes back.
Yep.
All right, next we got an interesting one. Bob. Sergei Bobrovsky. Lots of rumors that they might try and trade him since they can't get a deal done right now. What are your thoughts here?
There is only a singular way I see this working in any sense. I think Aiden Hill's been horrible for the Golden Knights, and I think you're retaining 50% of the Bob's contract for that final year to trade him. I don't know with what pieces or how they're going to make that work, but I think the only team that would really be interested in a goalie rental might be the Golden Knights.
I don't think there's a world where Sergei Bobrovsky moves.
Yeah, see, there's that too. Like, I don't. That's the only world I see it happening, and I don't know how that deal would happen.
I don't have him leaving. I have him being a stayer. He has made it clear he doesn't necessarily want to leave Florida. Yeah. I think Florida, they're going to get Barkov back at some point, and they're not in like dead last anymore. So like, is there a world where they can sneak into the playoffs and be dangerous? Yeah. Like you won a cup as the 8th seed. Like all you got to do is get in. In like in that picture, Bob will literally stand on his head, and he's done it. The last 2 cup runs. So I don't think this is a thing. I don't like their goalie situation if they trade him away. I think they eventually re-sign him.
I agree.
Maybe to a cheap short-term deal.
I mean, what is he like?
Just to finish out his career. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think Vegas is going to be in the market for a goalie. I think there's only 2. I have 2 teams that I could see being in the market for a short-term / rental goalie. And that is, like you said, Vegas. I also think Montreal could be in the market.
Yep. I agree.
Next, Petey.
This is another
one. Elias Pettersson.
We've just been hearing it forever. Is it going to happen? With that contract, you have to retain. You have to retain.
And they said they are not willing to retain any of it.
They're not willing to retain. That might be the worst contract in the NHL.
It is.
And if it were to happen, I think you have to retain to get it down to like 8-5, somewhere in there. And if you could do that, which won't happen, I think the only team that would be willing to give up top tier prospects and a pick for a guy who has just been falling off would be maybe the Detroit Red Wings and the Yzerplan. And I don't see it happening, but it's just
the sweetest connection. I get it. I do think he gets moved this offseason. I don't think you can get this deal done right now.
No.
Now, I do have a piece that will be going back in this deal that is also on this list later on. So spoiler alert, one of the players on our list later on, I have in this deal.
Interesting.
And I have him going to Carolina.
3-way.
Nope.
Okay.
Just going to Carolina, and I have Jesperi Kotkaniemi coming back in it. I don't think Carolina likes him. They want to move him.
Yep.
They
going somewhere else.
Are mad that they matched that contract or they offered that so that where'd he come from? Carolina. Or Montreal.
Canadians, yep.
Yeah, I think they're mad about that deal, and they want to get out from under that contract.
Yep.
And so if you can send almost $5 million on a player you don't want back, it makes it semi-palatable. And if you're not willing to eat it, any of that money, I think your return goes down so much.
100%.
So I think you're talking Kotkaniemi coming back. I think you might see another roster player maybe that's making a little bit of money that they don't necessarily use a lot coming back. I think at most you're getting like a second round pick. Like you're not getting a first round
No.
pick for him if you're not eating money.
No.
Like I saw a stat just a minute ago. I want to say it was like 49 minutes of play time so far since the Olympic break and 0 shots. 0 shots in almost an hour of playing time. Like what?
Ridiculous.
That's insane. Like, does this guy like hockey? I don't think he
seem
does.
anymore.
I don't think he does.
No.
I'm like, you have been a locker room cancer to where multiple players have been traded because they can't move you.
Yep.
If I'm any team, I'm not taking him.
No.
Even at 50% retained, I don't know if I'm taking him.
No.
Unless I'm just like, I have nothing. But like, why would you want to bring someone that has brought down an entire franchise and traded away several players? Why would you want to bring that into your locker room?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I do think he's going to get moved. I do think it's going to be Carolina. I think just Barry Kotkaniemi is going to go back in the deal.
That's fair.
But I don't think there are many teams that are willing to take this on. I think Don Waddell is just an idiot. So He likes big names. All right, next is Morgan Riley. Like I said, Toronto, there's a lot of stirring. Will Toronto actually trade their number one defenseman?
I think they need to do something. I don't know, rebuild, retool. I don't think rebuild's the fix. Retool, maybe.
I mean, Berube has called everybody out.
Oh, yeah. And I personally am not that high on Morgan Riley anymore.
I used to be.
Yeah. And I thought about this one for a while. And with that contract, it's 7.5 for 4. It's not the worst thing ever, but
it's going to be second pairing money.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Very soon. And I thought about for a while, and I thought for a team that could do it with no retention, and I took the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
I want to see.
I think they need a right-handed D. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, I agree. And you need to see them make a move. I'm interested to see if they're coming back to the playoffs like they used to be. And Morgan Riley could be that guy for the Ducks, maybe. Yeah. And the return, I think, would just be a prospect and a first. And I think that prospect's maybe, if you're lucky, you get a guy and that's a D-man in return for them, maybe like Stian Solberg, who isn't their best defensive prospect, but it's somebody. And I don't think Morgan Riley demands that much of a return anymore.
Yeah, I looked at this and I went, who do they have on defense if they trade him away? Like, into the future?
No one.
Yeah, they don't have anybody. No. And so, based on that, I said he's going to stay. I don't see him moving.
Yeah. I made one there just I was like, I could see it, but...
Yeah, like, if he moves, like... I don't even know. Someone would take him.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Somebody would take him.
That's going to be a really good contract for a second pair defenseman really soon, within the next year or two. Mm-hmm. I don't know who they have on defense. I can't send him anywhere without, like, if you send him to Anaheim, fine, like they have the cap space to do it. Mm-hmm. But if you're Toronto, like, you have to get back a defenseman that can play right now. Like, can you get it back in Owen Zellweger? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Can you get back a Pavel Mintyukov? Maybe. Like, that would be pushing it.
I don't think either of those guys.
But I don't even think you get that.
No.
And so that's where I'm like, I just don't think what you're going to get back for him is worth moving him.
No.
You might as well hang on to him. Let him play that top pair. Maybe he produces a little bit more. Maybe you guys figure it out. And he's still got 4 years after this year. So it's not like your window is closed. Like, you still have Matthews and Nylander. And Tavares is on a fairly cheap deal. And Matthew Nyes. Like, you've got some pieces. You just don't have anything after that.
Yep. It's just it didn't work out. They had their window, the Leafs.
They did. And you had 4 offensive players.
Yep.
Patrick Laine.
All right, so this is where I was talking about that 3-way trade.
That 3-way trade you were trying to make.
And I ended up chopping it all up, but
I want to hear about where you were with the 3-way trade.
I had a trade between the Predators, Canadiens, and Islanders.
Okay.
And after thinking about it for a while, it just didn't work out. And I kind of kept it how I thought it was going to go. And I hate Patrick Laine's contract. I hate how much he gets injured. And I don't know what playoff team would give up something to pick him up. So this is what you got to hear out the lot. I have him going to the Predators because they're trying to make a playoff push. They're deciding that it's not time to tank for some reason.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
So I have Patrick Laine going to the Predators for future considerations, and Montreal gives up like a second and a fifth to dump his contract so they can make.
Oh, you're giving up something to get rid of him.
Then that's how I have them affording Kadri that we talked about before.
Okay.
So they dump Laine to pick up Kadri.
See, I did something similar. Because I said in my original thought, whenever I had Jordan Kyrou going to Montreal, I said it was contingent on if Laine got traded.
Yep.
Like if Laine gets traded, then they can go get Kyrou.
Yep.
I do have Patrick Laine moving.
Yeah.
And I have him going somewhere, and the team is actually going to give up something.
Interesting.
Yes. I have Laine at 50% retention. So he's at 4.35. Palatable. And the only reason this team does it is because they have a bunch of cap space, and they just had a player go on season-ending injury, a winger, and that's going to score for them. So they need someone to fill that spot. It's Anze Kopitar's last season. They want to go for it.
I could see
the LA Kings.
Yep, I could see that.
So I have the LA Kings acquiring Patrick Laine at 50% retained for a second or a third round pick, probably a third, and a B prospect.
Yep, interesting. So yeah,
I think they're gonna. I think at 50% retained at 4.35, like
they retain.
He's a good enough talent that if he's healthy and when he's playing, that he's gonna put up some points.
Yep, 100%.
It's just keeping him there.
Healthy. Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, if you get that retention, I can see second might be pushing it.
Yeah.
But a third and a low-level prospect that might have some chance at some point, okay, I'm in on that. Because I think after Kevin Fiala got hurt, I think they need something on that wing, and they want to go for it. And if they get him at 4.35, I think they have like $11 million in cap space. Like, that doesn't have to be it for them.
No, not at all.
So that one was difficult. This one was also difficult for me.
I see.
Evander Kane.
Yeah. I have him going to the Avalanche instead of Kadri there.
See, that's who I originally had. I originally had him going to Colorado, and I hated it.
And I can see why you could hate it. I do. But, like, his contract is interesting, but I think the Avalanche are in desperate need of a grittier depth piece. I think that's the one thing that Avalanche team does lack in its depth. They've got the star power 100%, and I think Evander Kane could be a very helpful third-line guy to have there. He could even slide up on the second sometimes, but I don't think he has the greatest return on value. I mean, he hasn't really done a whole lot. He's been all right. He's just not what he used to be. So I have him get going for third and a fourth.
I don't like him going to Colorado because he has another year. If he was a UFA, that's when I liked it. Mm-hmm. If you could get him at 50% retained, you give up like a second round pick. Cool. I'm in on that. Having him for another year at 5.125, I did not like for Colorado.
Yeah.
You're going to hate this, and anyone in the East who has to play this team in the playoffs, if he were to go there, would absolutely hate playing this team. I don't have a return on what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I have him going to the Washington Capitals.
I like that fit.
Could you imagine Tom Wilson going out there, and then you're like, oh, good, he's finally off the ice, and then rolling out Evander Kane? Like, I would be pissed if I were them. I'm like, screw this. I don't want to get hit for 7 games by these two.
I think the Capitals are in a very weird situation.
I think they're going for it.
Yeah. I like their team the way it meshes now, though, which is like, if you add a guy, it can always shake things up and not work out.
100%.
And
he's one of those guys that it could be.
Who it could be to mess it all up.
He could be.
And so it's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I could see
I
that.
just,
That would work. Evander Kane and Tom Wilson on the same team. That would be.
oh my gosh, it would suck. Literally half the game, over half the game, you're probably getting hit by one of those two
Oh,
guys every time the puck's dumped in.
hmm
And then you got to worry about Ovechkin somewhere. So you're worried about not getting hit, and then you got to worry about Ovechkin. Pass. Like, that sounds awful.
I agree.
All right. Our boy,
Yep. So
the captain.
here's where it gets interesting. This is where I had the three-way trade going. I had Ryan O'Reilly going, but I thought about it more, and that's what ultimately led me to Patrick Laine also going to the Predators. They refuse to believe that they've missed it. They had a team for a while. The Predators refuse to believe it's over. They signed a bunch of old guys trying to keep it going,
And it's
and
bad.
it still doesn't work, and they still refuse to do it. So that's why I think Laine. I wouldn't say Laine is old by any means, but he kind of fits the like storyline of washed, I guess you could say.
Washed
And
for sure.
I'm not saying O'Reilly or Stamkos are washed, but they both have left out statements, like especially Stamkos, that he said he doesn't want to go anywhere, and O'Reilly wants to be there for the playoff push, which is I think is pretty cool of him. He wants to stay and try and help the team, but I have him staying.
But go somewhere where you can actually
Exactly.
help the playoff
I
push.
get that. And if he hadn't won a cup already, I think he would.
Yeah.
I think he would.
So I'm on the same page with you. Nashville is infuriating. Sorry, I would say. Actually, I take that back. I would say sorry, Nashville fans, but screw you guys.
I mean, they're good enough to make the playoffs, but it's just not a cup team. It's not a team that
No,
wins
it's
cup
not.
win. They could steal a ring, maybe,
Um,
but
yeah, I just
it's not a team.
don't like it. My original thought with this before I just decided all of Nashville is going to stay because they're idiots.
Yep.
Was to send him to Detroit as
I can see
their we missed out on Robert Thomas. We couldn't get Vinny Trocheck. Maybe that would be a fit there for Vinny Trocheck in Detroit. But that was my kind of consolation prize. You get a good veteran. He's got another year. He's going to be good on the faceoffs. He's going to give you power play or penalty kill time. Veteran leadership on a young team that hasn't been in the playoffs. Like, I thought that could be an interesting fit to be their second line center.
I agree.
But like I said, I don't think he gets traded, and I don't think anyone from Nashville gets traded now.
No, I agree. And
which leads us to Stammer.
Yeah. Just talked about
so
it. Great dude.
I don't think he gets traded.
His contract's
I
big.
think
He has 2 years left. He's staying.
I think there's one option that he'd be willing to trade to. And I've heard he's put together a very small list that he would be willing to move to.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one option, and it's him going back to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and that would be really cool. And Lord knows Tampa Bay loves to overpay. And they might actually get a decent return if it does end up happening, but
I think they have to retain a bunch.
They have to. I think 50%.
Yeah, you would have to retain a bunch. You would get a first-round pick, maybe a prospect along with it.
I don't even know if the Lightning have a first-round pick.
I don't either.
Every year.
They do. But to see Stammer go back to Tampa would be cool.
Yep.
Good storyline. And, I believe Tampa's still the best team in the East. So you're going immediately from a maybe we make the playoffs to let's go win another cup. And you bring back the guy who's lifted it for you multiple times. So that's the only way I see Stammer getting moved. But like I said, I don't think Nashville's going to be smart and move anybody.
Yeah.
All right, another blue.
This is
the actual new captain.
Yeah. If the Blues would have capitalized on Braden Shen 2 years ago when we were bad, or last year, one of the two, I think you can probably get a first-round pick for him. I don't think so anymore.
I agree.
I think he's going to the Carolina Hurricanes for Jesper Kotkaniemi.
No, don't say those words.
Yeah, I feel that's what's going to happen here. We're going to get a second, a B pick, or a B prospect, and Jesper.
Okay,
terrible trade, but it seems like one that's due.
Okay, so this is what I did last night. Full disclosure. Last night we talked about all of the players that we're going to put on the list, and we started figuring it out last night of where we're piecing these guys together. So I made a list. until like 1 a.m. Of where I thought players were going to go. So originally my list, I kind of put options and I crossed them off. I underlined a few. For Schenner was Vegas, Dallas, and Detroit. I thought those were fits for him. Then whenever I came back to it today, I found a fit that I like better. Because I think this team needs some grit, and I think they could use a center that could also play wing. And it's a team you've mentioned already, and I don't think they're going to go quite as big. I have them going to Seattle.
I can see that.
And I have them going to Seattle for Shane Wright in a second.
Yep.
I think people are valuing Shane Wright too high still.
Agreed.
Like he's going to be worth a first-round value. He's not. And I agree. I don't think Shen's getting a first. I think Shen's going to get a second and a prospect. And I think Shane Wright is almost past prospect level at this point. He is not going to play in Seattle. And I think they are going to move him in whatever deal they make. And I think for me, I have this being Seattle's biggest deal. So I think this is the deal that gets it done. And maybe it's only Shane Wright in a third.
That's fine with me.
That's fine. You're getting a young center with high potential that just hasn't lived up to it, doesn't get the playing time. And if you blow up the Blues, like you're going to get top 6 minutes most likely. Yeah. So I think Shane Wright is going to be a Blue, and I think it's going to be for Braden Shen.
Interesting.
We both had him going to the Blues. You just had him
different
with Robert Thomas, right? Or no, Jordan Kyrou.
If it were to happen.
Yeah. And again, it could be a summer deal, like you said. But Shen, I feel you're getting a veteran, you're getting a leader, you're getting a guy like you can see will fight anybody at any time because he needs to set the tone. He can play left wing or center. He's good in the faceoffs. He can kill penalties. I wish they would put him on the power play to stand in front of the net, but they don't. Whatever. Love Shenner. It's going to suck seeing him go, just like it's going to suck seeing Tomer go.
Yeah.
We're not going to spend time here. Jonathan Marsh, though, as you guys already know,
I lied.
We don't think you have him moving.
I lied. I forgot about him.
Okay.
I lied.
I didn't have him moving, but he is the one that I think him and I feel like him and O'Reilly are the most likely to move, but I didn't like a fit for him.
The only fit that I could really think of, and I'm not even like convinced this would happen, but if it were to happen, I wouldn't be that upset. I have him going to the New York Islanders.
Okay.
For a second, a third, second or fourth, something like that. He's not what he was a couple years ago. He can score those goals. He's been a playoff MVP.
Yeah, with Florida.
Cup, and I don't think the Islanders are going to make Vegas. A big move. And I don't consider him a big move anymore.
No.
So I think that might be a good depth scoring piece for the Islanders if they're trying to make a nice.
Shoot, I don't know if he would be depth with the Islanders.
That's true.
He might be the scoring piece.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't have faith that Nashville's going to move anybody, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Original misfit. Will he move? We'll see. All right, Jake DeBrusk.
See, this
Vancouver fire sale.
Yeah, I had made this deal before I even convinced myself that Kyrie was moving. So I don't think that Kyrie trade's happening. I think the Kraken are going to pick someone up here, and I think that's going to be him. That contract is just such a Seattle Kraken contract to have. And I like Jake DeBrusk as a player.
Yep.
I think he's probably he might be my favorite player moving from the Vancouver Canucks this trade deadline. And I think you can get a decent return for a guy like him.
I mean, 5 years left.
Yeah. I don't think it's a first. I think you'd probably get a second, maybe two in a prospect. He's a good depth piece. I mean, good middle six guy. His contract's not horrible, and he plays a pretty good game.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I have him going back to Boston. I think Boston needs I think Boston needs another player who can score. And again, I like those trades that send people back to where they have been good before.
Yep.
And he was good in Boston.
Oh, 100%.
But he was a lower level player there. He needed to get paid. It just didn't work out. But now with what they need, Boston needs some secondary scoring.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Jake DeBrusk can bring that from the second line. So I think that's where my fit is going to be. But I don't hate him if he's going to the Islanders. I don't hate him if he's going to Seattle. I don't hate – maybe Seattle's less because they got a lot of wingers.
Yeah.
I don't hate him. I kind of like those two the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I just think Boston makes a lot of sense because I think Boston is going to get a winger.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Oh, click. There we go. Connor Garland.
This one was interesting
Which
to me.
I'm going to let you know. This is not misspelled. Why do you only have one N in your name, Connor? I don't like it. I hate every part of it. So it annoyed me. I kept trying to find him on Puckpedia for his contract, and I'm like, CONN. I'm like, why are you not popping up? Because your name's spelled stupid. All right, what do you think? Why is it interesting?
It took me a lot to say he was not going to be an Islander. It took me a lot. I put him with the Bruins.
I think that's funny because I made him an Islander.
Yeah, see.
Like I said, Kyrou I have as an off-season deal to the Islanders, and this is the short-term deal until the off-season.
I could very much see that as well. I think what we literally just talked about with the Bruins, I'm not saying Garland is that guy who can go out there and be that top-line guy and score goals, but he can be a secondary scoring guy. He plays good defensively. And if you're the Canucks, I think you're just trying to move everybody for what you can get.
Yep.
And I think for some reason, the Bruins are a team that would do that. I mean, they're not giving up a first-round pick for sure, not at all. But maybe a second and a all-right prospect or a third and a second, something like that. And you can get a guy like Garland and say it works out, maybe you re-sign him.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up. Why are we not clicking? There we go. Tyler Myers. Again, this is the Vancouver fire sale.
Yep.
There's rumors he's already rejected a trade somewhere.
Interesting.
So he exercises no movement clause. I wrote it down on a different sheet of paper because that's what I do. I think it was Detroit. I think he said no to Detroit. So what do you like about Tyler Myers? Where does he fit? Where's he going to go?
Pretty solid defenseman. He's a big dude. I think, actually, how old is he? I don't think he's that old, is he? Tyler Myers? Let me take a look here. Tyler Myers. Never mind, he is 36 years old. Interesting. All right, did not know that. Then that changes a lot. I think he's probably going to the Stars, and for the Stars to get a guy like him, it's hard to say, but I think you're going to get a mix of picks there. And him denying Detroit makes me wonder, is he really – he's older. He's probably going for a contender. If he is going for that contender position, if he has denied the Red Wings, the Stars make sense to me. And maybe out of the East, you get Tampa Bay wouldn't. I don't think Tampa Bay would, but I think if he's denied to Detroit, I think Stars.
Yeah, and I originally had him going to Dallas, and I make sure I didn't change that. Where are you at on my list? My second list. Yep, I kept him in Dallas. And I think he gets a second-round pick. That's what I think he's going to get.
Yeah.
Maybe you throw in a late pick or a B- prospect or something, but I think it's going to be a second-round pick. And like I said, I had them also getting somebody. Who did I have them getting? Oh, no, I originally had them getting Kadri.
Yep.
I just don't think they have enough cap to make a lot work. But I think Tyler Myers at $3 million, that's a steal.
Yeah.
And it's 1 year, so if you really want to give up a little more put a good prospect in there and get him to eat to get down to 1.5 for the next 2 years, okay, you can make that work.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think Dallas is the landing spot. I think he wants to go big here with a chance to actually win. Not that Detroit doesn't have a chance, because I think the East is wide open.
Yeah.
But maybe he wants to stay in the West. All right, Risto. Where is Risto going? This is one that I think, like Trocheck, the Olympics really helped his stock here.
I definitely think the Olympics really helped his stock. And I thought this one might have taken me the longest. And I couldn't come up with a team.
Really?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Wow.
I sat there forever. And he was good in the Olympics, and he's been having an all right year. He's been historically horrible.
He has been a very big underperformer in his career.
And I think his first year in Buffalo, I think he was pretty good. And he got that hype, and then it just straight back downhill. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about it, and his contract isn't the worst, not at all. And I don't think the Flyers would – he's on the Flyers. I don't think the Flyers would retain at all.
I don't think they're going to have to.
Yeah, I don't think so. You could probably convince me with who you're going to say. But if you make me pick one now, Sharks.
See, I didn't even think about the Sharks, but man, do they need defensemen.
Yeah.
But is that the one you want to go with?
No, but if
I'm going to say no. I have one later on my list that I have staying with their team, but I really like the Sharks fit for somebody else.
Okay.
For this one, it's funny that who did he play for that first season and
Buffalo
was real good
for a little bit, like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and that's where I have him going back to.
Interesting, yeah.
I have him going back to Buffalo. I think that they expected more out of Michael Kesselring when they traded for him, and he hasn't lived up to that. And I think they would rather get somebody who can play a second pair on that right side. And I think Rasmus Ristolainen is that guy. Buffalo's got a lot of young pieces. Mm-hmm. They've got a lot of prospects. They've got some picks. They got some young NHL ready players. I don't think this is a Jack Quinn type of trade, but maybe they want to throw in. Did I put anybody for him? I did. I have them giving up a first round pick, which seems insane for Ristolainen. But I've heard they've set the price at a first and a prospect and a good prospect, maybe more. I don't think they're getting more than first and a prospect, but I have them, because they have so much young talent, I have them, what does Philly need? I think they need centers. So for me, I have them giving up a first and Noah Ostlund.
That makes sense.
Who can play the wing or the center. So
now that you said Buffalo, that makes me think a lot about Thomas to Buffalo. If they do end up giving up a guy like Owen Power, you can fill a gap like that with a guy like Ristolainen.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes, for sure.
And
I don't think Thomas
completely
goes
off. He's going to go to the other side.
100%.
And
yeah.
But
if you think about teams that need defensemen, the Sharks should be on every list if there's term.
In the world of rumors right now, that does make a lot of sense, though.
So he was good there, and that's about the only place he's been good. Yeah. So let's send him back there, because Buffalo's making a run, and I like it. So Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah.
This is one that is interesting to me because you traded Rasmus Andersson. You're trading everybody at this point that's not young. But you're giving up a right-handed defenseman with 5 years. It's only 6.25. This should return more than Justin Falk.
Oh, yeah, it will. It will.
And I don't know that it will, though. It should.
It should, but will it? That's a good.
And I don't.
So
listen, I love Craig Conroy. Was one of the guys, the underrated guys that wasn't a big name player for the Blues growing up that I loved. Loved Craig Conroy. I don't think he's a very good GM. I'm sorry, Craig. You're just not great. I don't enjoy you as a GM. I'm worried you're going to mess this up because you have taken some undervalued trades so far that I don't like.
I have him going to the Carolina Hurricanes.
Of course.
And I think they get a decent package in return. I don't know why I put this guy here now that I'm thinking about it, but it's not my first prospect going back. I have the first they got from Dallas last year for Rantanen, Bradley Nadeau, and Nikita Kwap, who is a goalie. And
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking they have Dustin Wolf. Maybe Dustin Wolf leaves, and with goalie prospects, who knows? But now that you were talking about it, is it going to return that much? I think that's a pretty fair deal for a Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah, and I don't think he's a top pairing guy by any means. I think he's a more of a stay-at-home second pair right-handed defenseman, which is very valuable. Like I think St. Louis should be in on this type of guy if they weren't just tearing it down to the studs. Like this is the type of guy they need when they trade away Justin Falk. Yep. Like let Mayu play that third line, get a Mackenzie Weegar, keep Colton Parayko. You've got your right side right now. That's not going to happen. No. But when we were talking about it and you brought them up, I think this is a guy the San Jose Sharks should be all over. You don't have a defense.
I have a different guy for the Sharks.
Okay. I'm like, you don't have a defense and you can get a right-handed defenseman for the next 5 years that can't say no to you. You don't have to sign him. He's already signed on an awesome deal. He would instantly be your best defenseman.
Yeah, I agree.
And play with probably like Mario Ferraro. Like you've got someone there that you can kind of see a top pair that just let the kids play and hopefully that defense can help out and goaltending can pick up some. But I really like seeing some of these defensemen with term being targeted by San Jose. And I did see he's not on my list because he's already been traded this year, but I have, and I thought it was interesting seeing that what's his name that they traded for Kiefer Sherwood.
Yeah.
They might flip because they can't get him signed.
Yep.
Which would be interesting.
I never understood that trade in the first place. If you want to be honest.
They needed defensemen. Why are you wasting picks on forwards
I don't get
that are UFAs?
Yeah, I don't get that.
So I agree. But it was just an interesting thing that I saw, and I was like, it never made sense from the beginning, so it's going to continue to not make sense. Yep. All right. The last blue on the list, Benner.
JB. It's kind of the same thing. If a goalie gets traded, there's probably 3 teams, maybe 4. I think you could probably convince me not convince me. I know for a fact the Golden Knights need a goalie. I think the Oilers still need a goalie. I think the Canadiens probably need a goalie. And the Pittsburgh Penguins need a goalie.
And it's hilarious because 2 of those teams have traded for goalies.
Yep, and they just traded
with each other.
A crappy goalie for a crappy goalie and hoped something worked out. And I think Jari's been all right for the Oilers. Not by means a cup-winning goalie, I don't think. And you can say the same thing about Stuart Skinner because I've been hearing his name's on the trading block too. So Binnington could end up getting traded to a team that needs a goalie, a playoff contender, but I don't know if his reign of terror is over in St. Louis until the summer.
Yeah, it does feel like there's potential. It could be this summer. But I think if you're Doug Armstrong, you're like, man, let's just capitalize on him being solid in the Olympics and showing that if there's a team in front of him, he's actually good.
Put him in front of McDavid. See what happens.
And if you're trading all of these guys, you're not going to be scared to retain half of that if you need to. No. So you could get Benner for a playoff run and a whole second season at $3 million for a starting goalie. I think you could get some good stuff for that. So like I said earlier, I had 2 places that I feel like he fits, and it's Vegas and Montreal.
Yep.
I think the smoke around Edmonton has been there too long that if there was something, it would have happened already.
Yeah.
And they made their trade for a goalie, and it seems like they're gonna live and die by it, which they're stupid. So, it is what it is. You spend over $5 million on a goalie that's not good.
Yep.
whatever. So I think Vegas and Montreal are the two fits. And originally I was going to say Vegas, but I ended up going with Montreal. I think they've got their goalie of the future in Cam Fowler. Like, not Cam Fowler. Jacob Fowler.
Yeah.
He is their goalie of the future. He is legit, but he's a rookie. Like, is that what you want to roll with this team into the playoffs? I don't think it is.
No.
So you get Binnington for the playoff run. He seems to be doing well, splitting time with Hofer and mentoring him. So you don't have to worry about him, throwing a hissy fit or whatever if he's not getting all the games, because he hasn't been for 2 years now. So you get him for a playoff run this year. You get him to split time with Fowler, and you ride whoever's hot in the playoffs next year. I have, with that, so you've got Jacob Fowler as your backup.
Yep.
I don't think the Blues want Montembeault back.
No.
Like, I think they can move him separately somewhere. So you're gonna roll with Fowler and Binnington, or Montembeault and Binnington for this year, and let Fowler go back to the A and play the playoffs, do all that stuff. I think my package coming back is, I think he doesn't get a first. I think he gets a second, and I think he gets Jacob Dobes.
I wouldn't mind that. I am a Jacob Dobes lover.
I know you love him, so I thought you were gonna love my return here.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me.
And then you roll Hofer and Dobes.
Yeah, that's fine with me. You know what?
St. Louis boy coming back to St. Louis. Let's go.
It's fine with me. Went to high school with him. Bring him home.
Yep. That's why I was like, if we can get Utah to take Robert Thomas, can we bring back Clayton Keller too? Like, while we're at it, and I was like, "There's."
Guys home.
I know. I was like, it ain't gonna happen.
Really,
it ain't gonna happen.
Frederick. I went to the same high school as him. He can come back, but
I'm good with that. I like Trent Frederick.
I just don't like his contract.
No, not a good contract. I mean, obviously, I'm taking the Kachuk boys.
Oh yeah,
if we get a whole St. Louis crew together, I'm in. But yeah, I have Jacob Dobes in a second coming back. I think the Blues desperately, if you move Binnington, you don't have anyone past Hofer. Like, Binnington didn't suit that first game, and we had Giorgio Romano or whatever as our backup, and I'm like, that's terrifying. Like, that's the best we've got in the AHL. You've got him and Vadim Varenko. Like, you don't.
He was going to be good. It didn't. I don't think so.
Didn't. No. And with Colton Ellis gone, which
sucks.
If we trade with Buffalo, please bring him back as part of that deal. We need some goalie not that we need a goalie prospect, because I think Hofer is the long-term solution. I think he's going to be good. He's already proven that he's good. Oh, yeah. You need a backup though, and you need to restock the prospect pool.
Yep.
Like, get a young guy, get someone who's 2-3 years away from it, even coming up to the NHL. But you trade Binnington, you have to get a backup.
Yep.
Period.
100%.
So Jacob Dobes has shown that he can do that. I don't think he's a starter, but he's shown that he can handle a role in the NHL. So get a second round pick, get Jacob Dobes. Yeah. You've got your backup goalie. You get a second round pick. You've got a goalie that could potentially steal you a series in the playoffs because he's done it before.
Agreed.
Dougie.
This is my San Jose Sharks pick.
Oh, I don't like it for San Jose.
I don't particularly think it's the greatest move they could make, but I for some reason, I see the future on this one. It's going to the Sharks. And
I see the future a little differently.
I couldn't pick on who was going to return, because I think Dougie's time in New Jersey's over.
Yes.
I do think it's over.
I do.
I think it's either a player in Kiefer Sherwood or Alex Wenberg going back for
that's interesting.
Like a second maybe.
I think they like Wenberg. I don't think he's going.
Yeah, so it's probably Kiefer.
But if you flip Kiefer, like, I could see that's interesting.
And I could see where they want a defenseman back, but they don't really have that.
Yeah, you want Nick Leddy?
Yeah, you can have Nick Leddy. You can have Dmitry Orlov.
You can have Muka Madulin. Like, I don't think he's going to be that. Like, I think the only one you can't get is Mario Ferraro.
Mario
Like
Ferraro and
I,
Dickinson.
yeah, you're not getting Dickinson. I still see him as a prospect, so
Yeah.
you're definitely not getting him. I see it a little differently, and this is where it scares me, is because that $9 million,
Yep.
I don't think Carolina can retain. I don't know what is going back in this deal. I don't have a return because I don't know if they can retain or if they would be willing to retain. But I think there is a team also in the East that wants to make a run and isn't giving up hope, and the window is just barely cracked open still. I think it's closed. They think it's cracked open. I have Dougie Hamilton going to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
They want to bring in another old defenseman. Let's do it.
They
He's not the
do.
oldest, but let's bring in another veteran defenseman.
Yeah. So my thought here is Erik Karlsson can play the left side. They can move him over with Dougie Hamilton, and I'm like, that is the worst defensive pair ever. There's no defense happening on that pair. But we know this is the last year for Gino, at least in Pittsburgh. Crosby's getting up there. Yep. The only way this deters it is if they think Crosby's going to be out for into the playoffs. Yeah. But you've got Dougie Hamilton, you've got Chris Letang, you've got Erik Karlsson. Gosh, that's just expensive old people on defense.
It's a veteran team.
But
2000s.
They don't think their window's closed. Yeah, and this seems like a Kyle Dubas move to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. I forgot Dubas was there. Yeah.
He ain't in Toronto making those trades no more. He's in Pittsburgh. I don't like the fit at all. Originally, I had him staying, but the more I looked into it, they're like, dude's gone. So I'm like, okay, where can he fit? And there's not a lot of teams that can take on that money. And I don't think like a Seattle or a Utah want him. Like they don't.
Yeah.
So this is, and he's not going to fit on a Dallas. He's not going to fit on a Colorado. They don't have cap for it.
I don't think he's going to a serious contender.
No, and that's why I think he's going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like if Edmonton could somehow make the money work, this seems like an Edmonton move because it's not what they need.
Yeah.
But they can say we got a defenseman. I just don't see that happening. So I've got him going to Pittsburgh. I have no idea what the return is. There has to be a player going back to offset cap. No idea what it is. Yeah. None whatsoever. But this was one of the harder ones because I'm like, I hate everything.
Yeah, everything. It's just like he's going to move. It's not going to be a good move. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a very underwhelming payment because everyone knows they need to move him. Yeah. So it's going to be like a cap dump player in return and maybe like a low-level pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated this one for sure. All right, Bobby McMahon. You've got a $1.35 million UFA.
This one's interesting because that's really cheap.
And that's why I have him going to a certain location.
Yep. See, there's a few teams where I think this could really work out. I was really thinking Buffalo for a while, and then I was like, probably not. And then I went to the Islanders and was like, they need a little help. And I was like, there's better. And then I think I landed on. That's not right. Okay, I must have moved it. I for some reason I have the Blue Jackets here. That's not it.
No, the Blue Jackets aren't.
Yeah, I didn't put in a return on this one either. So I think it was the Stars.
Cheap. They could use a winger.
I think it was the Stars. Stars or the Golden Knights, one of the two.
Both need cheap players. Yeah. I did the same thing. Not the teams, but I thought the same way. I said, this is a cheap contract. It's somebody. Toronto thinks they're getting a first-round pick for him. They're wrong. That's not happening. And if someone does, they're stupid. So this is where, and Toronto may even retain 50% to get up to like $750K, like something stupid. So I had two teams, one last night and one today, and I think they both work. So last night I had the Edmonton Oilers. Cheap depth winger that can get some secondary scoring. That's what Edmonton always needs. That and a defenseman and a goalie. And they never addressed the two big problems, so they're just going to keep trying to get secondary scoring. So I could see him absolutely going there on a cheap contract. The team that I picked today was because they lost out on other players. They were in the market for center. Originally, I thought maybe Ryan O'Reilly, Robert Thomas. Didn't work. They didn't get him. They did get Justin Falk, though, which means they only have a little cap space left. So I have them going to the Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh, I like that.
Get that third line, maybe bump up to the second line if you need to.
Yeah.
But I think Detroit is going to go after a right-handed defenseman and a depth scorer. Whether they would prefer a center. If they can't go big, then I think they go depth winger. And I think Bobby McMahon could be that guy for them.
Yep, I agree.
I think Edmonton also is a really good fit.
It wouldn't be a bad move.
No, this is a guy that you would ideally play him on the third line.
It's just what you.
But can he bump down? Can he bump up? Sure, like if you need to. But yeah, so I've got Edmonton or Detroit.
It's just what you pay for him.
Yep. And it might come down like Toronto might be like it's a bidding war because he's so cheap and he's kind of that fit for everybody. Maybe we can get him up to a first. I really don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe a second and a decent prospect. But I don't think someone's giving up a first for Bobby McMahon. Go get someone else.
Yep.
Blake Coleman.
I think I had
again with the Calgary Fire.
Yeah,
sale.
I don't have the Stars doing this many trades. I think I had the Golden Knights for McMahon. This was a guy I thought this is why they're acquiring Tyler Myers. And in my return, I had them dropping Ilya Lyubushkin a second and a fourth.
Yeah, because they got to give up some cap if they're doing that. And Lyubushkin's like 3-2.
Yep. So they give up Lyubushkin a second and a fourth, and they pick up Blake Coleman. And then they also acquire Tyler Myers. And ideally, one of those dudes is retained.
I like it. I like – this is where – for people who are just like, oh, they're not going to go there. Or they're not. This is a team that could use them.
Yep.
You got to start thinking about the other moves that they're going to make. Because if you're moving people and you're like, I need to upgrade forward and defense, I need to move out some money to do that. How do I fit those type of guys in? You're like, why wouldn't they go for a bigger name? Because I can get these two that can both be helpful instead of one helpful piece. So that's where these things start coming in. And so I had a stipulation on mine because I have him going somewhere. I only have him going one place in both of them, but the stipulation is that I guess I have a second place. If Steven Stamkos does not get traded back to Tampa Bay, I have him going back to Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I think Blake Coleman would be a really good, gritty third-line winger. Plays big and heavy for him. That can put up a little bit of scoring.
Yeah.
He's a playoff type player. So I think Tampa Bay would be my ideal fit. But if Tampa Bay goes big and goes and gets Stammer somehow, then I have him going to Montreal.
Yep.
I don't know if he's the ideal fit for Montreal. I think they would love to get a center. But, if there's not a center you can go get, I do have one coming up here in a minute that I would like as a center for them if they can't swing big.
Yeah.
But I don't think that player's going to move.
Okay.
So we'll get there and I'll talk about it. But Tampa is my first choice for him.
Yep.
Zach Whitecloud just got traded from Vegas
again, in my opinion,
to Calgary in the Rasmus Anderson trade. I don't think he's sticking around.
No. See, this is
2 years left at 2.75. That is a good piece.
That's a good deal. This is why I didn't send Ristolainen to Buffalo. I have Zach Whitecloud to Buffalo.
I have two spots for him, and I like both of them. This is who Edmonton should go out and get.
Yep.
I don't think they will, but I think this is the type of player. You don't need to make a big splashy name move. You need to go get a steady Eddie to lock down on defense, and that's what Zach Whitecloud is. He has had a slightly down year, but I think he is a good player. He's a right-handed defenseman. He can kind of stabilize that defense. I would love for Edmonton to do that if they want to go on a legit run. I don't think they do because Edmonton. This was my other player going to San Jose.
Interesting. Yep.
So if you could find a way to go get Mackenzie Weegar and Zach Whitecloud,
It's a good defense.
I think you can make a legitimate chance in the playoffs because you're gonna score.
Oh yeah.
And now you just got 2 actual defensemen for your 1 defenseman you have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, maybe 2. Dmitry Orlov's not great, but he's better than the rest of them outside of Ferraro. So Zach Whitecloud, he's cheap. He's not old. You've got him for 2 more years. Like this could be one of those guys that you could slide into that San Jose team and try and stabilize it a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you can't go big and get Weegar, this is who I really like for San Jose.
That's fair.
But like I said, I think this is the guy Edmonton should target.
I like that.
I don't think they will, though.
I like that.
Michael Bunting.
Yeah, this
the UFA.
This guy's moved too much. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No?
I don't know who wants him. I couldn't think of somebody like.
I have 2 places for him.
I don't like him.
I don't either. I think you're going to retain 50%.
Yeah. I think GMs are tired of him. I think it's just he's just been tossed around the league for the past couple years.
Someone's going to go, he's a big body that can play playoff hockey.
I get that.
And they'll trade for him.
Yep.
And if you retain half, you're getting him down to what? 2, 2, 5?
A bunch of retained trades because
no. And with UFAs though, like
it's
a lot easier because you're like it's for the rest of this year. Yeah. It's like I'm retaining 2.25 million cap hit. I'm really eating about $1 million. Yeah. So it's palatable. And I do think Michael Bunting does get moved. And I have 2 spots for him. My first spot was originally Washington until I gave them Evander Kane.
Yep.
Then I had to switch it. And you brought up a team earlier that you thought was going to make a move. I don't know if they're ready to go big yet. So I have this team taking a flyer on him to get a little bit of playoff help. Okay. And that's the Anaheim Ducks.
That's fair.
So you're getting a third line guy, a little bit gritty, kind of physical. Like he should be a playoff type of guy, but he hasn't been. So maybe you take the 4th round pick or a 3rd round pick at most and throw it at him to get that depth guy.
Yeah.
But I don't like Michael Bunting either.
Yeah. I agree.
Charlie Coyle.
This one, interesting to me. I think this is one of the ones where I have a 50% retain. And
again, any UFA, I'm going to say there's a chance.
I think this is one where you get a big retention. And I want to say Tampa Bay, but if the Canadians don't get Kadri, I think he's going to the Canadians.
Yeah, I just said Montreal would prefer a center. This is the guy that I think they should go get if they miss out on one of the big ones. Like if you can't get Trocheck, if you can't get Thomas, I don't think you're getting Petey. No. O'Reilly doesn't want to move. You don't get Shen. Like those are the guys you're looking for. Yeah. If you don't get them, Charlie Coyle is my perfect fit to fill in that 2-3C for Montreal. The problem is Columbus has said they're not moving any of their UFAs.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
And I think that is dumb, like Nashville.
Yeah. I feel like
because I don't think you're making a run.
But I think he's easily replaced.
Yeah. Like they said, we're not selling him. We're not selling Boone Jenner. Like, fine, you don't want to give up your captain. But, like, they've got, like, 4 or 5 UFAs, and they said we're not trading them.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake because, like, this is one of those guys that, like, if you love Charlie Coyle, which I like Charlie Coyle, but if you love him, this is one of those times where you go to him and be like, hey, listen, we're going to give you a chance to go win a cup.
Yep.
But we want you back this offseason. You have a deal in place.
Yeah. You
can't do that. You have a deal in place. You wait a few days or a few hours into free agency, and then you sign him.
Yep.
But that's a talk that you have with him ahead of time because you're not making a deep playoff run this year. I'm sorry, Columbus. You're just not. I enjoy Columbus. I like a lot of players on their team. But this is not a team built to go deep in the playoffs right now.
Not there yet.
So I think ideally Charlie Coyle goes to Montreal. That is my fit for him.
Yeah.
I think he ultimately stays based on what has been put out there by their GM.
Yep, that's fair.
So this is one I'm going to watch because I think it's silly that they don't move him.
Yeah, I agree.
Jesperi Kotkaniemi. We've already talked about him.
St. Louis
As a
Blues.
refresher, I have him going to Vancouver this offseason as part of the Elias Pettersson deal. You have him coming to St. Louis as part of the Braden Shen deal.
Yep.
And that's all we're going to talk about him.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Like,
But
here's the deal.
That's
Like,
just a trade that is so going to happen.
he was what, the 3rd or 5th overall pick?
Yeah.
Like, Montreal reached because they wanted a center. Didn't pan out. He's kind of a two-way player. He's never really progressed offensively.
Yeah.
He got a big, long contract because Carolina wanted Montreal to be screwed and get him while he was young, and it just has not worked out. And now they want to get rid of him. So, like, could he be a change of scenery guy? Maybe. I just don't think he is.
I don't want to be the team that takes the change of scenery guys all the time.
No, we've done it enough. So, yeah, I think this is an off-season deal. For Petey, you think it is a Shen, part of the Shen return.
Yep, that's fair.
OEL. We talked about Toronto having to Morgan Riley. Who's going to play defense there? But for a guy that's on a 2-year, $3.5 million deal after this year, there might be some value here.
There is value. This could always be a guy that fills in on a good team's third line, and it's like, wow, they've got good defense.
I mean, he's put up numbers this year.
Oh yeah. But if he goes to a good team, is he going to crack into that? He could probably be a second line guy.
And he's going to run your power play.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I want to say Sharks, but I don't think they're going to make that many moves. I don't think it's their time yet. I could see.
I think that's the wrong guy.
Yeah. I could see. This is another one where Buffalo maybe, but they already have a guy for the power play.
Too many lefties.
Yeah. I don't know.
Unless they trade Powers.
Capitals, I don't think so. I like their defense a lot already.
You're coming to the same conclusion that I made.
I just don't know. Is he going to move?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he moves. Like I said, who is going to play defense in Toronto in the coming years? You've got to have some players. Yep. And on with a team that's given out huge contracts, you need some cheap, reliable defenseman. And at $3.5 million for 2 more years, like, yeah, he's probably a third line defenseman that plays your power play and runs it. Can you sneak him into the second pair? Yeah, you can. He's getting a little up there, but like, you need some of those type of guys. And at $3.5 million with the cap going up, like, that's chump change.
Yeah.
That's what a third line pair is going to be going for. So I think this is a guy that they hold on to and hope that it gets better next year and that he can be a big part of that. And then next year, maybe if it doesn't go their way and they're selling again, like, then we can talk about him. But I think this is a guy that stays for now.
Yeah, I could agree.
And that is it.
Yeah, I think that, there's obviously other pieces that have potentially get moved, but they're smaller fourth line guys, depth pieces. But
you had some interesting names that you mentioned to me yesterday. Like, is Vancouver willing to move Brock Besser after they just signed him? I don't think personally that's a guy they're going to move. I think that's the guy they want to build around. If they can get rid of Pettersson, like, that's what they want to turn it over to.
That makes sense.
Trying to see if you said any other names for me that I'm missing. Oh, one interesting one. Because we talked about the Rangers potentially in a fire sale.
Yeah.
And I don't think Braden Schneider moves yet.
No.
Could be a piece eventually that they move. But the name that's been out there for a couple years now, Alexis Lafreniere, is he going to get moved? If he does, how does he get moved?
Yeah, that one's interesting. That's another guy. We just said it. When's he getting traded? Who knows?
He is the ultimate change of scenery guy.
Yeah. And like, I feel like that's a guy somehow that could end up on like a Detroit Red Wings team, or like a team that's like almost there, like a Blue Jackets team. But I don't think if I'm a Stars or a Hurricanes or a Golden Knights, I want him.
This is a guy that I have said for the Blues they need to go target.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, the Rangers are going to want too much for him. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
He's not.
The Rangers are like, this is a 1-1. Like, you got to give up something for the first overall pick because that's what he was.
Yep.
And he's got all that potential still. But it's been too many years
Mhm.
since then. So you can't expect to get a return like that. And I think the Rangers are going to hold out for that return. Yeah. So unless, from the names that we talked about today, unless it's a Robert Thomas, unless it's a Jordan Kyrou, like, though there's not many names on the trade block that are big enough for them to be willing to give up. Like, they're moving Trocheck, but even like if they weren't giving up a Trocheck, like, I don't think that's a big enough piece coming back that they would trade Lafreniere for. No. So no one wants Elias Pettersson.
No.
I mean, maybe the Rangers do because they're idiots, but then you're putting JT Miller back with Elias Pettersson, and that's just,
I think that's
instant fireable offense.
Yeah.
But there's just no one out there that, like, could they be desperate and be like, no, because they're not going to make the playoffs, so that doesn't work either.
I don't think it's happening.
I just don't think it's possible unless there's some blockbuster out there we're not thinking about, or there's another, like, maybe it's like, all right, you get Lafreniere and we'll take Shane Wright and another piece, a first or something like that. Like,
Capo back.
Yeah. It looks like they traded the wrong guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it just doesn't make sense for me, anything that's out there right now.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like a guy that until the Rangers realize, like, it's just a piece we need to move on from, we have to give him up. Like, I don't think you're getting I mean, maybe someone gives you a first for him, but I don't think you're getting anything more than that. And that's the absolute maximum if someone still believes he's that guy that they drafted. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the league thinks that anymore.
No, not a chance.
I don't think he's a first-line player. I think he's probably a middle six guy, and you're not giving up a first for a middle six guy that hasn't produced, and that's what he's supposed to do. So I think that's where we're going to end it today, unless you've got anything else.
I hope we get some good players back by Friday.
Yeah. Like I said, this trade deadline is near and dear to our heart as Blues fans, with literally our whole team. And that doesn't even include guys. I know, Tomer right there. Tarasenko already gone.
Fabry,
O'Reilly gone. Fabry just claimed off waivers. Yeah, Fabry just claimed off waivers by Minnesota. Yeah, you got Snuggie left potentially. But there's some big names out there. There's some big trades that could happen. It's going to be interesting to see if they go down now or if these are summer things that we're waiting for. Either way, I think it's going to be a fun trade deadline. You better believe Friday, my kids are going to work on a project or something, because I will be tuned into the trade deadline all day long. But before we go, as always, like and subscribe, do all the stuff. If you need a little help because you're feeling a little sleepy these days, always W Energy, get the 10% discount with the code athletes. Helps us, helps you guys, and actually tastes great. That's what I've been sipping on all time. This today was something sludge, I don't know. It was a green apple flavor. It's pretty solid. So that's gonna be it for us. Let us know in the comments, do you agree with us? Give us your opinions on where players are going to go, or if we are insane for some of our returns that we think are going to happen. But until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. See ya.